People hire personal trainers, go on diets, and spend quite a lot of money doing it. That doesn't have to be the case, says Sabine Bober. She is a Protestant theologian and professor at the University of Kiel. Her specialty is meditation research. Very good morning.
Good morning.
They say meditation helps you achieve your goals. How is that supposed to work?
The most important thing is to be clear about my goal, and the second most important thing to get from A to B, i.e., to get to the goal, I need a strong will. And if I don't develop it myself, of course I have to hire a personal trainer, because he has a strong will. Even if she says on the show, yes, I don't feel like it today, or something like that, it pulls you out. So actually, this is a very expensive representative of your own will.
If we stick with this example of Lisa, who says, okay, at some point I'll have to cope without a personal trainer, but I want to maintain my weight or maybe even lose more weight. How can she and everyone else who wants to lose weight achieve this goal with meditation?
The way I understand meditation, thinking, feeling, and wanting have to be trained. So don't train spirituality as just feelings or just concentration, but these are the three areas that determine our everyday life. What do I think? What do I feel? What do I want?
Why is that so important? Why else can't you achieve your goals?
Well, otherwise, many people are a bit unclear about what they want. I don't want that. But otherwise, our everyday life is largely determined by, I have to do this quickly, or can you do this and that for me? And it quickly becomes unclear what I actually want and need. And once we reach a certain level of education, we learn to empathize with others very well, but we increasingly lose contact with ourselves.
And how do I find contact with myself in meditation? So how does this work in practice? Because your program is called Mental Turning Point.
So I assume that mysticism, as I understand it, is first of all the path to oneself. Because in me there has always been contact with the center and the highest God. So I first lead people to themselves. And that is totally useful for everyday life. I give them 3 mini exercises that don't require any additional time at all, like sitting meditation. And one is an exercise in becoming an observer of my own thoughts. The second exercise, which is to give myself a positive feeling instead of going shopping, doesn't cost that much money.
But how?
And the third, an exercise for the will. Our feelings are largely controlled by images. And that's what advertising takes advantage of. A product shown, great picture, happy people. And so the positive feeling is linked to the product. And I say you can immediately build up the image in your mind and get a positive feeling straight away.
How often do I have to do this, and how long is such a meditation? And do I have to sit in a quiet corner, cross-legged, in order to then look within? So how exactly does your meditation work?
Yes, that was also the problem for me, why I didn't meditate for a long time. Well, I did a lot, Tai Chi for example, and stuff like that, but that takes extra time. And most of those who are currently on the verge of burnout don't have the extra time. And then I put together a mini exercises set for myself and my circle of friends, which doesn't require any additional time. So one thing works, because I also had a concentration word in the beginnings of Christian mysticism. I was mostly God's name, or for atheists, something like sheltered in love. And I try to repeat this internally in everyday life.
So no matter where I am, whether I'm standing at the checkout, I don't necessarily have to sit down anywhere.
So as a starting tip, this has different levels of practice. I'll say first start with where you don't walk into lampposts. For example, about falling asleep. So there are a lot of things I can do wrong or walk the dog. But later I say we have a lot of standby phases, and that's actually how we think. This goes through our minds a lot, and most of it is negative. Worrying, i.e. stress, starts in the head. And through the meditation word I become an observer of how I cultivate tormentors myself and can then stop them.
Now it is helpful if you want to lose weight, or if you want to achieve a sporting goal. But there are also problems that are bigger than just a few extra pounds. For example, when it comes to alcohol, it is estimated that 2 million Germans are addicted to alcohol, and treatment is quite difficult. Yes, Miss Bobert. Can you overcome an addiction with meditation?
So I have already supported several people with addiction. And what I noticed, the main problem is that they hate each other. And the addictive substance is something like, yes, it simply means that calm, love, and peace come. And that is a great comforter. And that's why I never started to take the addictive drug away from them. It's like snatching a child's teddy bear. The most important thing I have tried to do is pave the way to a very deep experience of love. And actually, I am convinced, like the Dalai Lama, that we humans are born to be happy. And what we can do from our side to even experience that the Church always says God is love, that we remove our barriers to love so that everyone can bathe in love.
But how can you create this feeling of bathing in love?
Actually, it is there. Just as Jesus says, the kingdom of God is among you. It is there. And I compare that to the fact that we have like 3 layers of neoprene. And don't you notice? That was bathing in there. One is lots of thoughts, often full of hate and worry. And if they came to a standstill, then we would be able to perceive. But thoughts are noise. The other thing is that our feelings also predominantly cultivate feelings of stress, fear, and worry. And they already make our bodies tense. And when we are tense, we are not aware and present. And the other thing is that we live largely unconsciously in order to fulfill duties and fulfill other people's wishes. And that makes you unhappy. And I simply give them 3 exercises so that they can get the areas back in order. And then you don't actually have to do anything. It's like opening the floodgates. And when they bathe in love and have an experience of unity, then they can increasingly let go of their addictive substance.
So when you get back in touch with yourself and find out what you really want. Now, if only the next time the bastard comes around the corner and says, "Come on, let's have a piece of chocolate or the cake." And no, you don't have to go to sports now. What do we do then?
One thing would be to awaken the vision of your slim self again if it is charged with feelings. That takes you away from the chocolate a little bit. That you say to yourself, I've already lost 20 kilos. Even if it's not true yet, why should I risk it now? And the other thing is, I say you have your core concentration set. Jesus, have mercy on me, or everything is love. And just put the bastard's voice on the back burner. This connects the bastard with the source of love. So that would be for me, Jesus, have mercy, I don't know, my chocolate happiness, or something like that. So I would never fight against that. Fighting makes the bastard stronger. That's giving him attention, which is allowed.
Ms. Bobert, I would like to thank you very much for the suggestion you gave us today. And I hope for all of us that this helps us to successfully implement our resolutions for this year. Thank you very much.